Hello, I'm Doug, the Director of Faith Formation for St. Joseph's Catholic Church in Modesto, California, and today I want to talk to you about the consecration to St. Joseph. First of all, what is consecration? We sometimes hear the term when the communion elements become transubstantiated from bread and wine into the body and blood of Christ. Other times we hear about consecrations of holy objects or people, such as a parish or an altar or a bishop. We've also been told that certain countries, or even the whole world, have been consecrated to certain saints, like Mary. It is the separation or the setting aside of something or somebody, specifically for a holy purpose. Now, while all Christians are told to be separated from the world, 2 Corinthians 6:17, when we take something or someone and set that thing or person aside for sacred use, that's called a consecration. However, in the 17th century, especially through the work of St. Louis de Montfort, we see consecration being used in a more popular sense as a sort of dedication or an entrustment. Pope St. John Paul preferred the term entrustment because that's essentially a descriptive term of what a personal consecration really is. It's the entrustment of our entire lives, even the things that aren't necessarily religious. Jesus, after all, is Lord of all, and so when we are entrusting ourselves, we entrust our entire lives, everything about them, to the care of a saint who we believe can bring us more closely to Jesus Christ. We undertake a consecration to know and experience more fully Jesus' presence so we can rejoice and be glad in every aspect of life. So when someone consecrates themselves to a saint, what they're really doing is consecrating themselves to God, but asking for the help of that saint, entrusting their lives to that saint to help bring them into that closer relationship with God. So, why a consecration to St. Joseph? We know that Joseph was a lowly carpenter, betrothed to Mary, a just man, ever ready to carry out God's will. After Mary, the Mother of God, no saint is mentioned more frequently in the papal magisterium than Joseph, her spouse. Blessed Pius IX declared St. Joseph the patron of the Catholic Church. Venerable Pius XII proposed him as a patron of workers, and St. John Paul II called him guardian of the Redeemer. St. Joseph is universally invoked as the patron of a happy death. That's from Pope Francis's writing Patri Corde, the Heart of the Father, which you can read. I'll put the link in the description of the video below. And of course, it was Pope Francis who declared 2021 to be the year of St. Joseph. What better time could there be for a consecration? We know that Jesus and Mary's lives were entrusted by God to St. Joseph, so who better than to entrust our own lives to if we want to grow closer to God? Consecrating oneself to St. Joseph means to accept his spiritual fatherhood, much in the way many have accepted Mary's motherhood and Jesus' brotherhood. St. Bernard of Clairvaux actually referred to St. Joseph as the Father of God, just as Mary is considered the Mother of God. As Father Donald Calloway, the author of the St. Joseph Consecration, writes, "We need the spiritual fatherhood of St. Joseph to help us protect marriage and the family. Marriage and the family have always been under attack, but in modern times the threats have reached extraordinary heights. To combat and overcome Satan's deceptions, the Church needs St. Joseph." The goal of this consecration is to imitate St. Joseph, to learn from his virtues and acquire them, and in doing so grow closer to his adopted Son, Jesus Christ. Similar to the way many have consecrated themselves to Mary in order to become closer to Jesus, so too can a consecration to St. Joseph accomplish the same thing. Now, what about Mary? Several of you may have consecrated yourself to Mary, done a total consecration to Mary, in fact, and that may sound like there's no room for consecration to anyone else. But on the contrary, a consecration to St. Joseph makes perfect sense with a consecration to Mary because God's will is for the family to have two parents. St. Joseph, St. Mary, and Jesus share the same heart, the same love, and we want to become part of their spiritual family. So there's no conflict in making a total consecration to any or all of the Holy Family. So how do we become consecrated to St. Joseph? Well, one could simply offer up a prayer indicating their intent to do so. However, if you really want to dig in and you really want to make something out of this consecration, there is a 33-day consecration preparation called The Consecration to St. Joseph by Father Donald Calloway. This resource provides a 33-day consecration where in about 20 to 30 minutes a day you're going to read more about St. Joseph than you probably ever have. You're going to learn about what the saints have said about him and the focus that the Church has been giving St. Joseph over the last 150 years. A limited supply of discounted books in English and Spanish will be available at all outdoor masses the weekend of January 23rd and 24 for only $10 each. Now, on the Feast of St. Joseph on March 19th of this year, St. Joseph's Parish itself will be consecrated to St. Joseph, and if you follow along with us, you can join the parish in the consecration at the same time. To fully participate in the consecration, Father Sam has especially asked for families to join in. He strongly urges not only individuals but entire families to come together and join us in the preparation for the consecration, which will begin on February 15th, 33 days before the Feast of St. Joseph. Now, we know that many people in St. Joseph's Parish actually did this consecration last year when the book first came out. Some of you may not be too sure about the consecration yet, and either way that is fine. You are still strongly urged and invited to follow along the study in the book, which will be beneficial whether you are preparing for the consecration or not. And even if you're not sure, why not follow along anyway, just in case? As part of 2021 being the year of St. Joseph, certain special indulgences have been announced. Importantly, one of those indulgences is to celebrate the Feast of St. Joseph on March 19th with an act of piety in honor of St. Joseph. And what could better fit that bill than a total consecration to St. Joseph? All right, that is all. We look forward to coming together as St. Joseph's Parish family under the guidance of our patron saint, St. Joseph, in this, the year of St. Joseph. God bless you.